Hi, this is Felissa Rose. I'm Angela Baker from Sleepaway Camp. I'm with the Skeleton Crew. Meet me at the waterfront after the social.
You're listening to the Skeleton Crew exclusively on Horrorbit.com and the Horrorphilia Podcast Network.
All right, all you Skeleton Crew, thrill me, you sons of bitches.
Alright guys, this is the Skeleton Crew Sleepaway Camp Retrospective Part 1. In this show we cover Sleepaway Camp 1983, an in-depth review, and we got a big interview with Felissa Rose. It turned out to be the most revealing interview she has ever given. Do not miss this one. The show is time-stamped. You'll know how long everything is, where to go to hear what. It's all set up for you. This is the Skeleton Crew presents Tales from the Boneyard. So check out this classic as Dan Chase, Michael J. from The Morbidly Made, and myself dive into the Sleepaway Camp franchise. Sleepaway Camp 1983, starring Mike Kellen, Catherine Kamhi, Paul D'Angelo, co-starring Jonathan Tristan, Felissa Rose, Christopher Collette, and Karen Fields. Felissa Rose is the killer, Angela Baker. Her cousin, Ricky, is Jonathan Tristan. So Angela and Ricky are the two main kids in this movie. What struck me about these movies is that these movies have a quality that Friday the 13th never really had, in my opinion. See, Camp Crystal Lake is the main focus of, Friday the 13th movies, but I never truly felt like I was at camp when I watched those movies. Yep. That's more of like a background setting. It's like a campground setting in the background. I mean, when you watch Sleepaway Camp, you know that you're at camp.
And camp is such a great setting for a horror movie too, Alex. Can we agree on that? You could use so many different storylines and so many cool things with camp. And dude, Friday the 13th, we talked about that before, how they didn't utilize it. And it's I think, what would you say? Maybe the first Friday the 13th, maybe the second one were the real quote-unquote camp movies. That's where they went, as far as they possibly could with it. And then from there, it kind of drifted away until what?
6.
Until 6, with the kids coming back. And I like that aspect, where they brought it back. But nothing really overtly about camp. And like I said, I love that as a setting. So when the Sleepaway Camp movies, watching them, they're fun, but there's a lot going on with the camp setting, and I like that. But see, the thing is with these movies, dude, I still don't get it. They're quote unquote, and I hate to use this word, campy in the sense where, did the filmmakers know what they were doing? They obviously had to know that they were creating something cheesy. But do you think they planned exactly how that movie was going to go before they made it?
I don't know. I mean, sometimes what might look one way on paper looks another way when it's acted out and when it's shot. I mean, and when the effects are there and things like that. I mean, they could have been going for something that it didn't turn out to be. But I don't know. I think what it turned out to be, this is one of those movies, the quintessential capture the 80s feeling movies. And when you capture the 80s feelings on any level, it's going to be, cheesy or corny, things like that. So I think that's just a part of the era it's shot in. You know what I mean? All right, well, just for some inside information, Ricky's hands were used for all the murder scenes, as most people already know. Yeah, the boy.
I don't know.
That, because a girl's hands are different than a boy's, so it would throw us off. You think it would be a boy anyway. It has one of the greatest twist endings of all time, quite possibly, which we'll get into towards the end of this. I remember I got my I never even heard of Sleepaway Camp. I was walking through Best Buy and I saw their survival kit, and just something about it just drew me to it, and I was like, this sounds cool, Sleepaway Camp, a whole thing. And I'm a sucker for franchises. I have to watch every movie of, if I like a movie and there's a franchise for it, I gotta watch the rest of them.
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And sometimes you pay dearly, like I did with Hellraiser.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Wow.
Right.
Yeah, but okay, so right off, the opening scene of this movie is pretty intense. You know, with the water skiing accident, it looked a little forced and cheesy. Yeah. Yeah, it was cheesy. That girl was a very...
See, that's what I mean, though, Alex. Like, they had to have been going for that. And then look at the mother and stuff like that. Like, they had to have been going for over the top. Because...
Well, actually, that was the aunt. Well, that was Ricky's mother, but Ann was Ann.
Yeah.
Dude, it's just something about these movies, though. I was trying to debate. I was going back and forth in my head saying, did they mean to go this cheesy with it? Because that seems to be, the thing with these movies. It's so cheesy. And I was having a blast with these, to be honest with you. And I was laughing throughout the whole fucking thing because I love 80s cheesy movies. And this is kind of a quintessential, example of that.
Well, I wouldn't even relate the other two to this one, or three for that matter, to this one.
Right.
Yeah. I wouldn't even talk about them in the same realm. I think they're completely different. The feeling is different. The approach is different. Everything's different about it. It's almost like Sleepaway Camp is one thing, and Sleepaway Camp 2 and 3 are almost a different franchise in my eyes anyway.
You know what?
Right.
Good point, Alex. You're right.
Yeah, I don't even relate them at all, except for I watch them in order. That's about it. But so this is really cheesy. So you got the girl screaming, you got the gay lover standing there, and here's the biggest question for right off the bat: how does a gay guy have 2 kids?
I think he was a closet gay.
Yeah. So. Okay, so, it's really weird. Like, after the guy gets mauled by the boat and he's dead and he's, floating in the water, his boyfriend just goes, "John," and he stands there. That reminds me of, like, Halloween when, like, that moment where Michael's parents just stood there shocked after they took Michael's masks off, and it's just, like, for effect. It's just for movie effect. Like, in real life, wouldn't he have ran down, made sure the kids were okay, made sure John might be alive and do CPR on him? Nothing?
If I was the guy, I would have just run down, jumped in the water, and I would have went and tried to, like, drag the body to land and try to resuscitate it. I mean, because, look, there really wasn't a lot of blood on John's body.
No.
So he could be alive there, and he was just floating face down. He didn't, come on. That's not believable to me. The guy could still be alive. If you really loved him, you want to go and try to save him, I think.
Perfect example. Shutter Island. Leonardo DiCaprio finds his kids. That's a real reaction. This, exactly, Alex. It was stupid.
Yeah, I mean...
You want real, that's real right there.
I mean, maybe he just didn't feel he was worth... Maybe the guy didn't give good head. I don't know.
Maybe he didn't. Maybe he didn't really love him. And like the accident was a setup. Maybe he paid the water skiers to kill the guy.
Maybe he had a gag reflex. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, like.
Mike, we're gonna hit you again with this. All right, so what I like what Dan was talking about. Let's talk about the crazy Marilyn Manson out of a mental ward aunt. Wow.
Desiree Cool. I'll tell you what, and I know like now she does like real estate work, I believe. I'll tell you, she played that part perfect. Like there was nobody, I think, that could have delivered the crazy like she did.
I couldn't tell if it was bad acting or I'm gonna be the most bizarre human being in the world.
Look what I did. I packed you and your cousin some goodies for the ride up to camp. Wasn't that nice of me?
Any chips?
Why, of course. I believe there's a whole bag.
Yeah, she was straight out of a John Waters movie. Yeah, it was just I was like looking at the screen and I did the whole head tilt like a dog does when he's looking at you. Like, huh? I was like, what?
You know what? This movie's full of disturbing people, dude.
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
When the kids all run over to Camp Arawak, you got this guy saying,
Just look at all that young, fresh chicken. Where I come from, we call them baldies. Makes your mouth water, don't it?
Artie, they're too young to even understand what's on your mind.
Ben, good buddy, there ain't no such thing as being too young. You're just too old.
now,
Oh, you know what? And it's weird because as I was watching it, I realized what they meant by baldies.
what, this last time you watched?
No, actually, before, when I was watching it when I was a kid, when I first saw it, I wouldn't know. And then, all the years, I didn't go. But when I watched it this last time, I watched it with more of, a curious, analytical eye. And when I did so, I'm like, oh, he's calling them baldies. That means they have no pubes.
Well, what really creeps me out about it is that everybody around him is just standing there when he's saying that, and the black guy is just like, they're too young to even know what you're talking about, or, whatever. And I'm like, oh, by the way, that cook, that black guy, that's James Earl Jones' father,
Is it really?
What?
Yeah, that's James Earl. Yeah.
Wow.
Darth Vader's father. Yep. Then you got the camp owner, Mel. Now, was he Mr. Furley or Mr. Roper on Three's Company?
I don't know.
Well, no, he does. I mean, no, it can't be you. It can't be.
Yeah. He actually died the year this movie was released, 1983.
Oh, I thought it was a while ago. It was cancer, I think, that killed him.
Yep. So he was on his way out while you saw that movie. Yep. And you got Judy and Meg, perfectly cast.
Yeah. Oh, I agree.
The two bitches who hated Angela.
Oh, yeah, dude. Yeah.
And I would have taken both of them.
You would have what?
What's that? I said I would have taken both of them.
Taken them where?
You know.
I think Mike was more intrigued by Ronnie with those high shorts and the muscle shirts.
Well, I'll tell you what, his calves were amazing.
Wow.
Wow, that's a drop we're pulling.
No, but and the best part was with Judy, she didn't have a bra on for a lot of the film, so that was kind of...
Yeah, and that's a problem. Yeah, that's interesting.
That's a problem?
Yes, that's a problem. Dude, this guy Paul goes, hey, Judy's here, and wait till you see her, and he's holding his hands out like she has these big tits and shit. Then all of a sudden, I'm like, oh, great. I'm like, yes. I'm like, all right, baby, let's see this Judy. Let's go. Right. I'm like, in my mind, I'm picturing freaking Carmen Electra standing there. All of a sudden, they cut to Judy.
Oh, yeah, they go to Gwyneth Paltrow. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And she has these B cups.
See, that's perfect.
I got titties in her.
See, but that's perfect. I loved that. I thought that was amazing.
Right. All right.
That's another thing that I want to bring up too, Alex. I don't know if you were going to get to it, but I just got to bring it up.
Yeah.
That they used, actual 14-year-old kids to play 14-year-olds in the movie. Like, Angela and Ricky were actually the ages that they were portraying, I would think.
You know what, Mike? I like that too, man. That felt authentic, because you see so many movies nowadays that try and fake it, going over even 10 years. So, yeah, that was pretty good to see.
Right. The thing is, that wouldn't fly today, though, Dan. They would not let that happen.
Right, exactly.
Let's get to some kills, because that's what this is all about. All right, the first kill probably is the greatest of the movie. Angela, this guy is cooking corn in a pot that's 5 feet tall.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
my
Artie.
God. Yeah, Artie. Now look, and that's the same guy. We call them baldies. They make your mouth water. Now, this pot is pretty dangerous, whether the killer is at camp or not, if you ask me.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a pretty tall pot. I mean, if something goes wrong there, how do you even get the corn out of there when it's done is what I want to know.
God only knows.
But
that was disgusting. I hated that corn.
But classic kill. I still cringe to this day. When you actually see him on the floor and no water's behind him because it's so hot, it must have instantly evaporated, and his tongue is sticking out, and he's fucking melted, man.
Right?
And the way he's screaming, I still cringe, and I tense up. I'm like, oh, God, I feel it in my body.
Wasn't he the child molester guy too?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, let's get to that before we even get to him dying.
Right.
Yeah, okay, what the F moments?
Let's go walking. Oh, I got something you really like.
I couldn't believe what I was seeing, dude. That was a crazy scene.
Dude, that was the craziest part of this movie besides the ending. Like, okay, now this is the kind of guy...
Terrific.
Yeah, this is the kind of guy who buys a Serbian film on Blu-ray. And you know what I love? Like, when he brings Angela into the walk-in and he starts unbuttoning his pants because he thought she was hungry for something else. I love how the kids run out and he walks back out in front of his boss and all the other workers fixing his belt.
Right. Yeah,
yeah, and nobody says anything about it. Like they don't even realize that, you know, he's that. That was a little strange, I thought.
They're probably so used to it. Like that's what he does around there.
Oh my god!
Then why is he still working there? That's my question.
That too, though, Alex. I was like, is this guy for real? Like he just had no shame.
He just didn't care.
Like, yeah.
Dude, I'm sorry. If I was with two little kids anywhere and they ran out screaming, I would be like fixing my hair and making sure my shirt was tucked in. I looked good when I walked out of the room I was with, like just to not draw attention. Like, okay, guys, I didn't do nothing. I'm perfectly normal, right? Now this guy's coming out and fixing his belt.
Yeah, exactly. Scratching his balls. Yeah, he was going all out, dude.
Oh my god. Yeah, but that. Yeah, because Angela said, or somebody said Angela hasn't eaten in 3 days, but you know she still has the energy to stand up. and
well, she probably drank some water.
Yeah, maybe she drank. Right.
Yeah.
So there you go. So you got, okay, well, so they took care of Angela. Jeez. The killer took care of him.
Yep.
I mean, okay, let's face it. Angela's the killer. I mean, we could say that, right?
Yeah, we know that. I think we know that.
It was made in the 80s. I think it's time we let the cat out of the bag, so to speak.
Exactly. 30 years ago, I think we could talk about what... If you haven't seen it, like I said, you should turn this off already.
Yeah, if anybody gets mad at us for that, fuck you.
Yep.
No.
Now, I got a little bit of nerd analytical observation here.
Okay. You got, nerd.
Okay, so, we know what's wrong with Angela. Remember when she was sitting on the bed and she was staring at Judy? And she goes, "What are you staring at?" Remember that? And she threw the pillow at her, and Angela grabbed it, and then she went and got her pillow back. Do you think that she was, like, staring at her because she was, like...
Attracted to her?
Attracted to her, yeah. Or admired that she could just be who she... Like, that she's a real girl, or that she was sexually attracted, like...
Oh, dude, she was probably getting somewhat of wood.
Like, and you know what's weird about it? Like, Angela knows there's something wrong with her. It ain't like she's walking around thinking she's a real girl. She doesn't take a shower with anybody. You know, she doesn't go in the pool. She doesn't do all this stuff. So she knows that, you know, something's not exactly gelling about her womanhood. All right, for some easy what the F moments, the clothes these people are wearing, the baseball scene.
Oh, yeah. What the fuck was that?
Like, I love how Gino tries to come off as the cool older guy. Meanwhile, he's running around in a belly shirt. He almost looks like A.C. Slater. Okay, what about all the kids wanting to have a water balloon fight? So let's go on top of a roof and throw the balloons 2 feet from each other. That sounds like a good idea.
Oh, yeah, that was rock and roll. Yeah.
Or, like, when Paul starts unbuttoning Angela's shirt, and she starts having these, like, whacked-out flashbacks of her two dads stroking each other in bed, and the kids are at the door laughing. Now, do you think the kids were laughing because it was two guys, or would they have the same reaction if, like, they walked in on their mom, you know, piping away on their dad?
He said piping. Fucking piping away.
Now, why do you think the kids were laughing?
Probably because of two guys, in my opinion.
Because it was two dudes?
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, what about the
They
scene where...
weren't really doing anything. Like, they were just, like, stroking each other, in a sense.
That's it?
What about, like...
That may be normal for you, Mike, but for...
No, but I'm not saying they were stroking each other in a sense. They were like... Actually, you know what? Let's not use the term stroking. Let's say they were lovingly caressing each other.
Okay, what do you think about a few seconds later, though, when they showed the two kids in bed and the boy was just, like, pointing at the girl? Like, what was the finger implication?
Well, no, because he was trying to kind of do what they saw the grown-ups doing, and, like, they were trying to, like, touch each other.
Right. So he was slowly like, I'm going to touch you, but I'm going to slowly do it and really break through and really, embark on this part of my life, which we never really do.
Right, exactly.
And, you know, the weird part is about that scene that you have to remember that the boy in the bed is Angela. That's not the girl.
Right.
You know, that's kind of a mind, yeah.
That's sketchy.
Yeah, it's just so weird. And, so we talked about the first kill already getting, like, boiled to death instantly. Now, the second kill was kind of lame, man. Like, the kid under the canoe, hey, Baba, rebub, hey, Baba, rebub. and then Angela just pops out of the water.
That's what people said in the 80s.
That was what?
That's what people said in the 80s. Now, was that actually Felissa Rose under that canoe, or was that Jonathan Tiersten?
I don't know. The hair is pretty long. But here's the thing, though. So Angela pops up out of the water, which is pretty scary. But then she just holds him.
Yeah, but where did she come from?
She probably just swam in, saw him, and then swam underneath. I don't know.
Yeah, but she can't swim. She said she wasn't a very good swimmer.
Oh, yeah. Plot hole.
I love the movie, but this is something you guys got to think about.
Oh, dude, there's plenty of problems. Yeah, there's plenty of problems with this movie. Don't worry about it. You can talk about all of them.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, so Angela just pushes him underwater and just holds him there. What? He couldn't hit her hands away and just float up to some other place in the water? Like, how in the world does she kill? And why
because
is she?
She's a guy. She's not a she. She's a gentleman.
Even you're right. Okay, but think about it. Even if it was Ricky doing it, how come he couldn't whack Ricky's hands away? Like, what makes Angela such an amazing killer right off the bat? She never killed a single person in her life.
And that's why
actually she did though. She killed Artie, so this is number 2.
Oh, stop! She pulled a chair. and honestly, if she
flambéed him, dude.
Dude, if she pulled that chair, honestly, that pot of water would have splashed on her too.
In real life, like you said, if that girl went toe to toe with anybody, she would basically get ruined. Or that guy, technically, but that scrawny guy goes toe to toe with half of those guys, she's gonna come out losing, right? But these movies try to play on the fact that, okay, she's got the surprise element because nobody's supposed to know that she's killing, right? Or he's killing, whatever. And so that's supposed to be her edge, right?
Right.
But like you just said, it doesn't matter because she's doing stuff like that. Like, oh, it's just setting up stupid scenarios where people get killed in stupid ways that don't make sense. And like you said, if it's going to be a surprise, then it's one thing, you know? Because like you said, you have a huge advantage because the other person doesn't know.
Right.
Okay, you can see that working. But when it works like that, like you said, why didn't he just fucking push her back? It's like, that's a very valid point, and it's almost like so obvious that it's like, okay, it completely renders this movie kind of invalid in the sense where it doesn't take place in a world that real things exist and real scenarios play out like they should and shit like that.
Where's his will to live?
Right, exactly. It's like, come on, it's almost that stupid. So this is one of, honestly, I gotta break this down. These movies are movies that you sit around with your friends and get drunk to and laugh at.
And have fun.
And I had fun with it. I'm not gonna lie, it was a great time. But really, I mean, Sleepaway Camp. That's all I'm saying.
What really makes no sense about that entire scene, oh my god. The girls, the crop of babes that these guys wanted to skinny dip?
Right.
Dude, did you get a good look at those girls that those guys were saying, come on, get in, let's skinny dip? Why would you try to convince any of those girls, besides the main one that was like in the front a little bit, into skinny dipping with you. Like, I'd be telling those girls to fucking wear more clothes. I'd probably tell them to put a concrete shirt on and tie a fucking anchor to your leg and jump in the lake. Did you get a look at those girls? I want anybody to go back and watch. I paid attention to this, especially the chick, the tall chick, all the way to the left. She was like 6'2". She had this curly, tight black hair.
Yeah.
Right.
And the girl all the way to the right looked like a stuffed sausage. You gotta go back.
Well, wait, but here's the thing, right? They're horny teenage guys. They want sex. They will look at anyone naked.
Pamela Henderson, man. Pamela Henderson. It's as good as any. It's better than any one of those chicks. I want everybody. Because I was watching this movie with my girlfriend when I was watching for the show. She said, "Hun, would you wanna skinny dip with any of those girls?" I said, "Well, maybe that one in front, but none of the rest." And we went through every one of them. Oh my God.
But if you're desperate enough, you'll do it.
I have never been to that point, I guess.
Yeah, I've never been that desperate, dude.
Yeah. And
welcome to my world, okay?
Now we talked about the water balloon fight on the roof. Now that guy pegged Angela, so he was the next one to go. All right, the guy's taking a shit.
That was great.
She drops a beehive in there. Now, there's a lot of things that don't make sense about this. Number one, why wouldn't you just kick the beehive across the room? And sure, a couple bees will sting you.
Because the stall was locked with the broomstick or whatever it was.
But there was room underneath. Dude, crawl underneath the stall. Get out. You'll get stung a couple times.
He was mid-shit.
Who cares? Look, who the hell wipes their ass in any Friday the 13th? Why start now?
No, but I'm saying he was actually probably mid-shit when it happened.
Dude, when a beehive lands on your lap, you bail, man.
Well, see, and that's another thing. Like, those must have been some pretty powerful bees because it looked like they took a chunk out of his face majorly, you know.
Dude, he looked like he was laying there dead for 3 weeks in a matter of seconds.
Yeah.
Oh my God, dude. Like, dude, if I'm taking a shit, listen, pucker your asshole up, clip the shit, and run, dude. I mean, you gotta go. I'm sorry. A piece of shit's not going to be the determination of whether or not I exist in a minute. All right. Okay. Speaking of asses and shit. Okay. The prank on that kid Mozart, making him do a sit up into the kid's ass.
Oh, that was fantastic.
You know, that was actually how I convinced my first girlfriend to give me a Hummer. I told her that she couldn't do one sit-up and keep her mouth completely wide open at the same time. And yeah, so she sat up, and then you hear...
Yeah.
And then I made her do it 50 times, and I actually have a recording of that.
Do you really?
Wow.
That's something to see. Yeah.
This week's Tip of the Dick, brought to you by the Skeleton Crew.
Yes, I'm sorry. I got a lot of feedback on how much people love those drops, so, you know. I know these retrospectives will be heard than most of our shows, so I'll throw it in there. This whole thing with, like, how she was staring at Judy, and you wonder if she was attracted to her, and that's why she was staring. You know, it makes me wonder why she never stopped and asked Ricky throughout all those years, like, if she was supposed to have a dick.
The thing is, how long had it been that she, like, was being dressed up as a girl? That's my question.
Oh, ever since the aunt took her in from when she got out of the hospital after the boating accident. Yeah, it's funny because we started off the Friday 13th retrospective by saying that Friday 13th is basically a ripoff of Halloween, but, you know, do you think they changed things around enough to make it its own movie? Now, I'll ask the same question. This is basically, hell, it's at camp. It's basically a ripoff of Friday 13th, right down to the woman killer. Do you think they changed it enough, and the kills were innovative enough, and the whole movie as a whole was entertaining enough that it becomes its own movie? Because, let's face it, this is the bastard child of horror franchises.
Agreed. Agreed, Alex. Yeah, dude, absolutely, dude. But I think the whole feeling of these movies is different. That's what separates it. That's what sets it apart. Because I don't consider these in the same realm as, or in the same you know, what am I looking for? Oh,
The
God.
same level of Friday 13th, Halloween, all that, the typical bullshit. Yeah.
Yeah, they're not on the same level as Friday the 13th.
But you know what? I think they are. I mean, Mike, am I nuts? We always disagree, but look, I think that these three movies are. This is probably one of the greatest franchises ever. Those are the three most solid movies I've ever seen start a franchise off. Besides, let's just say, obviously, I shouldn't say that because they all start off good.
Right.
What I'm saying is, this because they stopped at 3 to an extent. Let's just say that it stopped at 3. Is this not the most highest quality franchise?
I would have to agree with you. I think I really would at that point. And no, I think what makes it different from like your Friday the 13th or other franchises is the fact that this one actually had kids, campers involved. And I mean, this one had balls, and I'll tell you why. Because the one counselor, I forget his name, that took those kids camping, overnight in the woods to sleep out, they all got butchered.
I was so glad you said that. They
That's
finally killed
That's
kids.
fall.
Yep, they finally killed kids.
Yeah, that was pretty big.
That's awesome, dude. Angela took a fucking hatchet to their heads, dude. That is awesome. Now, do you know why?
My question is, why did she do that? That's my question.
The answer is because those were the kids who were throwing shit at her and Ricky after Meg threw her in the lake.
Oh, okay, yeah. All right, yeah, that makes sense.
And he goes, "You stupid fox," or like whatever he said to them.
Yeah.
When he was walking away, those were those kids. That's why they got offed. Now, here's the thing. Let's get to Meg's death now. Okay, was Meg's shower death as effective as the shower kill in Psycho? Just kidding.
No.
I thought you were serious for a second. I was like,
no, I'm not serious. It's weird, though, because it seemed like Mel was more concerned with who killed Meg rather than the fact that she's dead. Like, for a little bit, like, he sort of reacts to her being dead. Then it goes back to, I'm going to get him. And then it goes back to, like, her again. And, like, and how come he never, like, during the whole crying, like, oh, we'll throw a clip in there for that.
He did it. I had him. I let him go. Please forgive me. I'll stop him. Gotta stop him. He won't get away, Meg. He'll never get away from me again.
How come during all that bizarre reaction, he never mentioned the fact that this was probably the last time he'll ever have a chance of railing a chick who's 40 years younger than him? Like, that's what I would have been saying. Like,
right.
I could have had this. How could you take this one chance away from me? Like, he didn't even cross his mind.
Yeah, didn't think. I mean, and the fact is that that makes it so. I love too how her back is just like exposed. I thought it was a cheap kill though overall because it's like there really was nothing to it. Like, and the knife just goes down the back. It's like there was really nothing to it. It
was anticlimactic for Meg. Like, there's one of those moments where you really, really want her to get it good, and just like the guy with the pot of water on him, that's awesome. That's a great payoff. Meg was a bitch through the whole movie, and all she got was a knife rammed through her back and ran down her back. Now, and here's another instance where the reaction makes no sense. I mean, he lost more than a camp counselor. Like, the whole other time, he was worried, or that the kids, he's killing off, or he's going to ruin my business. Like, he was going to bang this chick. Like, wouldn't you check to see if she was still alive? I mean, let's face it. When he walked in, she was still standing up in the shower and fell into the curtain, ripping it off. Like, I would assume that there might still be some life left in her. Before Judy's death, they show the killer silhouette in the doorway. Now,
Now, who was that? Because I don't think that was Felissa.
It looked like Ricky with a wig.
Yeah.
Well, all right. Well, then we get to Judy's death. Now, It's the curling iron up the twat suffocating combo platter now.
Oh, so wait. So it did go up her twat. I thought that she got it in the face.
I thought she shoved the curling iron up her vagina.
If she did put it up the vagina, I wonder.
I actually have a phone call here, Mike, of her 911 call.
You do?
After that incident with the curling iron in her vagina, and here you go. Here's exclusively on the Skeleton Crew, as always, yeah.
You see emergency.
Hi, I need somebody to help me. My pussy is burning. It's burning. My pussy is burning. I need some help. Can you help me?
Hello?
Can you help me?
Hold on, man. What, can you say that again?
I need to see somebody. My pussy is burning.
You need to come in then.
Huh?
You need to come in.
I can't. My pussy is burning. Can you help me? Can I make a house call? Can someone make a house call?
Hold on, please.
Hi, can I help you?
Hi, my pussy is burning. Can someone help me? My pussy is burning. It's on fire. Can you help me?
Your what is?
My pussy is burning.
Then you need to come in and be seen.
I had an accident. I fell and tripped over my hot iron, and it's burning. It's scorched.
Then you should come in and be seen by...
Can you come? Can I get a house call? I can't even close my legs. I can't walk.
You know what? But you know what? That makes sense, Alex. That does make sense, because when she did, get the curling iron, whatever, you hear it like kind of sizzling as it was going.
Right.
So maybe it was her,
the wetness of her, the moisture.
Yeah, her juices kind of interacting with the curling iron that made the sizzle. So yes, maybe you are correct.
Yep, absolutely. And you know what I don't like about that kill, though? I love this movie, but what's with the hands coming up and crinkling the fingers and the shadow? Like, come on.
Because she's in pain?
I feel like I'm watching a comic book come to life or something with that one.
Yeah, but what's the problem with it? She's in pain, though.
Right. Okay. So Mel gets an arrow through his neck, which is very reminiscent of Friday the 13th Part 1 with Brenda, of course. Here's the biggest what the F moment in this entire show.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to hear what Dan says.
Right.
What was with Meg wanting to hook up with Mel, the camp owner?
Oh, dude.
Could this movie have any more disturbing undertones? I mean,
yeah, like the creep level in this movie is just through the roof, dude. Yeah, like on so many different levels. Yeah, I don't know, dude. I got nothing. That just, it was funny too, because when that came about, it was almost like, okay, yeah, that's about right. Like that's about right on for this movie. Like I wasn't even fazed by it.
Yeah, it's on par for this movie.
Yeah, you know what I mean? It's just like, oh, okay, yeah, that's about right.
Meg was hot, bro. I mean, look at that body again next time you check this out. She was pretty. I mean, her face is an 80s face, but she's hot.
Right. So she was using Mel. She was using Mel for his money.
She was like, got a date. And she's like, with who? It's a secret. Or, whatever. I don't know what she said.
Yeah, that's her sugar daddy, dude. That's sugar daddy.
She was so happy about this. And then towards the end, when everybody's realizing people are dying, you got that cop with the fake mustache.
Yeah,
yeah,
oh my God, dude. No. Can we just talk about that mustache for a good 5 minutes?
Oh my God.
That was bad. That was really, really bad, dude.
Too. Every single angle, they made sure that it glistened and it was fucking center stage. Oh, that mustache was classic.
It looked kind of realistic when he came over when the kid got killed in the canoe. That looked real. And then all of a sudden, towards the end of the movie, it was like a whole nother, like it just had its own evolution on his face. And what's the most bizarre part about it? What's with the close-up? Why would you do a close-up? If that cop looks like that with that shit on his face, hold the camera 40 feet away from him and don't zoom in.
Right.
No, that's what I was gonna say, dude. Like, it fits in with what I was talking about earlier. How this movie's kind of doesn't take itself seriously at all, and that's why I don't consider it the same as any of the other franchises, Friday the 13th, and Halloween and all that, because it's almost like, all right, we know we're being almost comedic in the sense where I know Friday the 13th and all those had comedic moments, but it adhered to a horror base, and this seems more like it's almost like a comedy first, like a wacky comedy first, and then it's got horror elements and it's got people killed and all this stuff in it. So that's just what it seems like to me.
Yeah, the sad thing is these movies are so close to being with the big boys, but they fall under, Sleepaway Party Massacre, or whatever, Slumber Party Massacre. It falls under
Sorority House Massacre as well. Don't forget those.
Yeah, it falls under Sorority House Massacre. It falls under, what are all of the B, horror is B to begin with, but so I guess it's C movies.
I can't say that though. Sleepaway Camp is definitely better than Sorority House or Slumber. Or you know what? I'll even say Slumber Party Massacre is better than Sorority House Massacre, because Sorority House Massacre exists purely on just making a movie for nudity, and at least the original Sleepaway Camp had a story that was kind of, that you could follow.
Dude, this was an amazing story.
Right. And it didn't just throw in people and, it didn't just throw in nudity for nude's sake. Honestly, in the first movie, I don't really think there was any nudity, really.
I don't know. I don't recall. I don't think so.
I don't think there was, no.
We could thank God that there was no nudity on the skinny dipping scene.
In the first movie? Well, obviously, except for the end scene.
Right. We get to see penis.
That
doesn't even qualify in my book.
No.
Okay, so I guess we're getting to the end here, so here we go. End of the movie, Angela gives her famous line, "Meet me at the waterfront after the social." So Paul goes ahead. I know we glossed over this, but, Paul was trying to get with Angela. She talked to him out of everybody else. She kissed him. I already talked about him undoing her shirt. Then she had those visions. Now we're getting to the part where Paul screwed up. He basically cheated on Angela by hooking up with Judy. Angela saw it. She took off. Then she supposedly forgave him. And Angela says, meet me at the waterfront after the social. So Angela cuts Paul's head off, dude.
Badass.
Yep, just when you think he's making some progress with the forgiveness deal. Now, do you think she did this before or after he put his hand down her pants?
I wonder. I think she had to let him. I think she had to let him get a handful.
Yeah, just to shock him, and then when his mouth opened up, do you think his last words are "What the fuck"?
Yep.
I don't think he even had time to speak. I just think it's probably like, "What?" Oh.
He just got what, and then he that's wild, man. So she's sitting there humming some song. Ronnie walks over with these tight red pants on, and some other person. They come over, and he goes, "Huh?" And all of a sudden, you hear that.
How can it be? God, she's a boy.
I hated that.
She becomes a soft-spoken girl to a beast.
It appeared to me when I was watching the movie, but it's interesting to me. The fact that when she stands up and she's like, okay, how do you go from the sweet, soft-spoken little girl to all of a sudden this hairy fucking ape of a guy that just seems like he's 30 years old?
Yeah, why is she suddenly like a beast woman? You know what, though? I think it was just for, effect. Honestly, when I first saw that, and because I didn't get spoiled when I watched it, when I first saw that, and they panned away, just looking at her face that she was making was bizarre. Then all of a sudden you pan down and there's a dick and you hear, like all that shit. Like, dude, that was freaking crazy. And what happened was that it was an 18-year-old boy's body, and he was wearing a plaster mold of Angela's face. I always thought that they did some trickery with like photo stuff, but it was actually a guy wearing a mask of Angela. But Mike, I want to know one thing. When you saw Angela's penis, were you packing more, or did you lose to a 13-year-old girl?
I was completely flaccid.
Mike, yo, that was what I was gonna say though, dude. Same thing, man. Yeah, what was that really though? Like they were going for over the top scary, I guess, but
yeah, it worked.
Stupid, dude. I didn't
you
like
think that's stupid, dude? I love you and Mike both think that was stupid.
Well, no, I loved it when I do it. I loved it. Like the first time I saw it, I didn't notice it, but like this last time when I just watched it, for us to do this retrospective, that's when I'm like, you know what? It is kind of just a little bit over the top for my taste.
No, Alex, all right, I'll give it this. It was creepy. Dude, it was really fucking creepy. I will give it that. Did it fit in with the movie? No, it was stupid. Like, I just thought it was...
out of place.
No, exactly. It was out of character. Like,
right.
She could have played it so many different ways. But, dude, I get it. Like I said, when she's standing there, beasting it, I was fucking scared shitless. I was like, what the fuck's going on?
Exactly.
And I think that's what they were going for, was shock value. So on that level, yeah, absolutely. Bravo.
Perfect job. I mean, I'm sorry. That was just awesome.
I thought it was kind of over the top and stupid.
It was, but when you first, and I don't know if you were spoiled before you saw the movie, but when you first saw the movie, I'm sorry, man, that and the look and the music and Ronnie going, oh my God, she's a boy, or he's a boy, whatever he said. And the visual and the looking at the dick and the sound, dude, that was one of the scariest moments in horror movie history. I'll say that.
Wow.
Yep, I'm going that far.
That's a fucking bold statement.
Yep. There ain't too many scary moments, dude. Seriously, honestly, what? A couple jump scares and shit? Like that is what we want. I don't know. Is it not? I don't know. Is it, dude? But you gotta remember, this is 1983. Give it that respect, though. You gotta remember that part. I mean, that probably wouldn't fly today, but neither would half of the shit we talk about. I mean, half the movies that came out in the 80s that wouldn't really fly.
Oh, no, not at all. Definitely not.
I did like it, Alex. It felt like everything else in the movie just a little off, with a lot of plays. Didn't exactly fit in with the quote-unquote horror genre. It was just almost like in between a comedy and a horror movie, and going for shock value at the same time. Almost like a grindhouse movie in a sense. You know what I mean?
Yep. All right, well, let's get to the part of the show that everybody turns off. The ratings. I'll let you guys go. Go ahead. I know Dan's not going to give it too much. Do you want to rate this within its franchise or as a movie in general?
Well, within the franchise, okay. I'd probably give it, I'll probably give it a 7.
Okay. What about as a movie?
Overall, up against the big dogs, I give it a 4.
Mike?
Well, as a franchise film, I give it a 9. And as an overall movie, I would give it probably a 6.
I knew you were going to say that.
That's fair.
Yeah. As a franchise, 9. As overall, gee, I'm gonna give it a 7 at least. I love it. I mean, I would like to give it higher.
No shit.
I'm sorry, I can't give it a 7 because it's one of my favorite collections I have. I watch it every year, and I don't say that about most movies, even ones I like. I'm gonna give it.
Now, do you think the nostalgic aspects come into play with this movie as well, Alex? Like we've talked about before.
Oh, like a personal, yeah. Oh, like passionate.
Right, absolutely.
Oh, passion? Yeah, my passion In reality, yeah. Six is a good rating, actually. Passion, 8 or 9.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, there you go. So
admirable, sir.
Thank you. Best kill. I'm gonna say the best kill was the guy getting boiled to order. First kill.
No, with the arrow to the neck when he's like, "It can be."
Dude getting his head chopped off.
That was your favorite one, Paul?
Hmm?
Paul with the head chopped off? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, everybody, as promised, we have the beautiful, the talented Felissa Rose, the legendary killer from Sleepaway Camp 1983, Angela Baker. Felissa, thank you so much for joining us on this Sleepaway Camp retrospective.
Thank you so much for having me. I really, really appreciate it. Thanks so much.
Oh, thank you.
It's our pleasure.
Yes, thank you. And, you know, you're not the one and only Angela Baker, but we'll get into that.
Yeah, we'll definitely talk about it. The two Angelas.
You know, it's funny. My whole life, any interactions I had with anybody, they always thought that there was some kind of rivalry between you two. Like, I'm the real Angela Baker. No, I am. These are the real movies.
Right. No, most people do ask that question. They think that there's some kind of competitive, situation, but it's all good. I mean, I think it worked out perfectly. I love Pamela Springsteen. I think she was amazing in 2 and 3.
Yeah. How did you think 2 and 3, when I watch Sleepaway Camp, then I watch Sleepaway Camp 2 and 3, they're like two completely different worlds of movies to me.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. That's why I thought it was so strange that people would compare them, because they're so completely different. I mean, the first one, Robert Hiltzik wrote and directed, and it took itself a little bit more seriously. There wasn't that dark humor. And then when Michael Simpson took over 2 and 3 with Pamela Springsteen, it had so much more humor, and it was just like a totally different type of movie. And although we're one big family, there are big differences between the movies, and there's just, I mean, who cares? Like, so what? You have to just love them all for what they are.
And we all do, I think.
That's how we feel about it, too, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I love every one of them, so.
Oh, thank you. I do, too. I love 2 and 3. In fact, if you ask my husband, I think 2 is his favorite, so.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. So I have to feed him up every now and then now.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, just don't cut his head off and stroke it on the beach.
Oh, my God.
You know, the number one thing, when I show this to people and, we all watched it, everybody says, did this girl's parents read the script?
I still ask my mom, like, where were you? Were you, like, smoking something? Because, my mom was just a typical stage mother, and she thought it was really cool that I got a job. So it's like she wasn't thinking in terms of, oh, my God, look at, what she has to do. She was thinking, wow, this is cool for her career. So
right.
It was one of those things where while you're filming, it's so completely different, on the set than it is when you actually see the movie. So nothing terrible happened. Yes, I was 13, and they didn't use my hands for any of the kills, and they didn't use my body for the end. So it was definitely a lot lighter while we were shooting. But it's funny because my husband was telling me the other day he was watching Curb Your Enthusiasm, and some girl says something, and I'm like, oh, I can't believe she said that, and she was only 12. And then I look at him and I'm like, what am I saying? Like, I had a penis and I was killing people to death. Like, what? Who am I to ask that question? So yeah, it's definitely like, totally different when you're filming something.
Yeah. Now, did you know that you would have a penis at the end of the movie?
Absolutely. I mean, I remember that when we went to the callback, Robert, there were probably 8 girls there, and Robert had to ask permission from all of the parents, would it be okay if, and at that time they were going to ask Ed French to make, I guess, a penis and strap it on us.
Oh my
And of course,
God.
I probably got the part because my mother was like, yeah, no problem, sure, like, you know, she could do whatever. But, yeah, that's how they were originally thinking of it. But, you know, in the end, they just made a mold of my face and found an 18-year-old kid to play that part. So, The poor guy. He got like wasted on a bottle of Jack, you know.
Oh yeah, to do that?
Oh my God, he was crying. Yeah, it was mortifying. Like, you're standing there in front of a huge crew. It's freezing. So I don't think he looked as good as he could have. And he had to be. I think they shaved him a little bit, and he was tiny because his face and body had to resemble me somehow. You know.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was definitely like horrifying for him.
Oh,
He's
yeah,
the real star of the movie. What's that?
Said I would have been drinking too.
Oh my God, absolutely. Everybody was drinking on that set anyway, but that's a whole other.
That's another story.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, like, I always thought that was like trick photography, because I don't know if everyone's recollection is the same, but wasn't he standing completely still? Didn't it seem like a still shot that they just kind of backed away from? I always thought that was your real face, and it's weird to think that it was a guy wearing a mask of you now.
No, it was the close-ups were my real face, and then when they, had the long shot, it was a real guy standing there.
Yeah, that's
cool.
cool.
It's definitely strange. The whole thing looks weird.
Yeah, and the noises that you were supposedly making.
Yeah, there was definitely some of my voice in there, and it was just he was trying to make it as creepy and bizarre as possible, and the whole movie is really, dark and strange.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
right.
well, that scene alone really, really got me. I remember seeing it a long time ago, and I just recently rewatched this movie, and that scene still holds up. That really freaked me out.
That last scene. Yeah,
Yep.
I mean, I'd have to say the reason people probably remember it, I mean, look, we're talking about it today. It's 30 years ago, exactly 30 years ago. Like, I think the only reason we're talking about it, because let's be honest, it's not like, this unbelievable piece of cinema, but it's like that end moment is definitely original and shocking. And those are the two reasons why I think it holds up and people remember. Oh my God, Sleepaway Camp. Yeah, that really screwed up, chick with the dick at the end, That's why people remember Sleepaway Camp, because of that last shot.
Yeah.
That's what I think. It's just my opinion. And from
No, you're right. Absolutely.
No, yeah, you're right. That definitely made it stand on its own, and it probably was the reason for all the sequels. I mean, it was just that much of an impact. Now, here's the impact that I'm worried about. What did all your friends at school say when they saw it? like I'm just imagining boys afraid to talk to you, for years to come.
It's so funny, like, to try to remember and think back to what the reaction was. I think I went to see it with my whole, 8th grade class, and I still talk to a bunch of them on Facebook, and they're like, yeah, remember when we all went to the movies to see it? It really didn't have that much of an impact in that way, like, oh my God, she's a freak. Right. It was kind of like, that's so cool, she made a movie, and it was kind of like in a really weird movie, and no, the only thing that was weird was when I came back, because I had missed the first couple of months of 8th grade, and I think that girls were kind of like giving me a hard time at first, like, oh, you think you're so great because you're an actress. There was one girl in particular who was just this mean girl, but fortunately I had other really good friends who were kind of like the tough girls, and they stuck up for me, and it was kind of like that typical tween stupid BS,
Yeah.
But it was all good. I mean, in the end, like, everybody just really thought it was a cool movie, and it kind of faded away. I mean, it came out in November. It did really well. It came out like Thanksgiving. Funny enough, it beat Yentl, the other he/she movie. Right. And then it came out. It was re-released again in June, the summer of, like, I forget, maybe 83 or 84, and that, it kind of went away a little bit. It wasn't really until, like, the internet that it made, like, a powerful comeback, and people were, like, making websites and talking about it, and it was like, whoa, what's going on,
Yeah, what was that like? Because, okay, let's just say Sleepaway Camp wraps up. Like, what did you didn't really do anything acting-wise after that, because in the 80s, they did ask you to come back and play Angela Baker, and then you said no because you wanted to enroll in school, and if you held off, then you couldn't get in, right?
Well, somebody's done a lot of homework. I was a kid, and I was doing commercials, and I did audition for some really cool sitcoms like Give Me a Break, and I think I auditioned for Who's the Boss. I was around that circuit. But I did, just theater and kind of, was a kid. And then I really decided once college came about that I wanted to enroll in a university where I could study and become a serious actress. So I got into NYU, early decision into Tisch School of the Arts. And at that time, Michael Simpson and I met, and it was kind of like, I think he had already done Fast Times with Pamela and thought she'd be good for the role. So I asked my manager, like, what do you think? And they were like, well, if you want to do, we'll talk to him, but he's talking to Pamela Springsteen. And it kind of just evolved into, I really want to go to school. NYU won't let me in early decision again. Like, I'd have to re-enroll. So it kind of all worked out just fine the way it was supposed to. And I went to school, and they did 2 and 3 in Georgia, like back to back. Mm-hmm. And then it wasn't until like many years later that I decided, okay, now I want to do this for real. And I was in New York City and started again with some theater, and then got into a bunch of horror movies. And then I was fortunate where I got to do a lot of, those kinds of movies and play the killer and the victim, and I've had a ball. So
wow.
It's really
awesome.
fun.
So the internet basically made this whole thing come back to life after the mid-'80s. So all of a sudden, everyone's like Sleepaway Camp, Angela Baker, Felissa Rose, and then they start talking Return to Sleepaway Camp.
Yeah, it was really like one person in particular. I mean, it was Jeff Hayes started SleepawayCampMovies.com, and he was like the biggest fan, aside from my husband. He got in touch with me through email and was like, look, I'm making a website. You wouldn't even believe how many fans there are, like, worldwide. And could I come meet you? He lived like in Boston, and I lived in Manhattan, and he came to see me, and we hung out, and he was like, I really think we should try to find Robert and like maybe do another one. It just seemed crazy to me. I was like, what? Little did I know Robert lived like in the same town as me.
Wow.
And for all those years, like, he and I never bumped into each other, and so we got in touch with him. I found his number, like, in an old book that I had kept from being on the set. We called, and we got back together, and Anchor Bay did the commentary, and that was the first time I had seen him in, like, 16, 17 years.
Wow.
And I'll never forget, he came to my door, and he had flowers, and it was like just seeing each other, like we just saw one another last week on the set. And then we got back in touch with Jonathan, Ricky, and we got in touch with a whole bunch of people. And it's, Sleepaway Camp is just this odd little family, and all of us have kind of like kept in touch. And then when Robert wanted to do the next installment, Return, it was kind of like just a natural segue into getting that together. And all because of Jeff, it all happened. So wow. It was really cool. The whole thing is just so weird because we did the Fangoria convention like in 2000 or 2001, I can't remember, and it was huge. We had never been to a Fangoria convention. It was in New York City, and Tony Timpone was like, "Oh my God, this is crazy." It was like standing room only, and it was just amazing. We signed at the table for 4 hours. We were signing stuff for people.
Yeah, you have a huge fan base.
It's unbelievable, like the nicest, coolest, people in the world. Mm-hmm. Just, in going to conventions around the country, they've become my friends. I mean, it's really, really incredible to go from city to city and meet people and hear their whole Sleepaway Camp story.
Yeah, when I was a kid.
Yeah, they're like, "Oh my God, I went with my boyfriend and this happened." It's just crazy, and I feel really lucky because of it. It's, again, as I said, my husband, he was a huge fan and put the end face on a T-shirt and went on the show Jackass.
Oh, yeah?
And I had seen that episode, and I was like, who is that weird guy, wearing... I'm like, is that my face on his shirt from Sleepaway Camp? And sure enough, Jeff Hayes, and he was like, yeah, the lead singer of CKY, and he's like a huge fan, and he put your face on his CD, and he put your face on his guitar, and I was like, okay, this guy's a little strange.
Well, oddly enough, we're big fans of CKY too, so just wanted to say that.
That's so cool. Well, yeah, that was just, a bizarre situation, and we emailed for like 2 years, and then when we were doing Return to Sleepaway Camp, I said, you know what, why don't you come and, visit? So the whole band got on like the red eye the next day.
Wow.
And I met the band, but I didn't meet Darren. He was like sleeping. And so they were like, yeah, Darren's like, wait till he meets you. He loves this movie. Like, this is his life, and they're like, aren't you married? And I said, no, I'm not married. And they're like, oh, wait till he finds out. And the minute we met, I was like, all right, so you want to, like, hook up?
Really?
I thought he was so cute. I was like, you are the cutest thing I've ever met. And, like, you've been my friend through email, I said, you want to conquer the world with me? And he was like, okay. And that weekend, we were like, okay, we're in love. We're going to move in together. We got our names tattooed to our fingers, and we've been together now for 9 years.
Wow. That is the greatest story.
3 kids later, and we're still, like, the best of friends and, like, totally madly in love. Like, it's bizarre. He's always like, this is so weird. He still says, like, my birthday was a couple of weeks ago, and he's like, I still have a crush on you. Like, you're still Angela to me.
Oh, my God.
It's weird.
That is so crazy. So I guess Camp Kill Yourself, it was all about Sleepaway Camp then.
You know what? He loved Friday the 13th and Sleepaway Camp. And really, when those guys were, like, making their crazy, videos and stuff, Darren always thought, like, let's make it a weird camp-type horror movie title, and he thought Camp Kill Yourself would be really cool. And then the record label didn't like Camp Kill Yourself, so they just, did the CKY.
Right.
Now, Mike, you have the same kind of thing going on with Danielle Harris. Do you think this will work out for you?
Well, by the way, Danielle and I have recently become friendly, and I have to say, she is just such a smart and beautiful and amazing and incredibly talented person. So, she's awesome.
Yeah.
So good luck.
Mike has her pants on his walls. So.
Yeah, her screen-worn pants from Rob Zombie's Halloween are framed on my wall, yes.
Oh, true story.
Wow. Well, you see, you never know. Yeah. You have to do something shocking to get her attention, right?
Yeah.
With Return to Sleepaway Camp, how do you feel about, like, the capacity in which your character returned to the movie? Like, were you okay with the whole thing about being hidden with your face and your voice, or did you want to do, like, the same kind of vibe as part 2 and 3, where Angela was on screen, like, basically, and the main character the whole time? Like, what did you have in mind when you guys first started talking, and how did it get to the part where you were going to be like what you were?
Well, to be honest with you, when Robert handed me the script, definitely being an actress and having an ego as a woman, I was like, I can't believe, like, I can't, in doing this role, it won't really be me.
Right.
But then, after I got over the initial, like, kind of arrogance that has attached to it, it was like, no, this is a really, really, really cool role. I'll never have the opportunity to play something like this. Mm-hmm. And I knew it was going to be intense. Like, I was in makeup for 6 hours every morning when I was in that character. So I thought, this is really neat. Like, I get to experience a whole other side of this character. And I thought it was genius that he really kind of thought up something that was going to be totally fun, not only as an actor, but as a viewer, as somebody watching the movie. Mm-hmm. Of course, people had their own ideas that they could tell it was me and blah, blah, but nonetheless, I think that it was a really cool character and a great way to bring her back. And, myself as the actor, I felt really honored to play that role.
Yeah.
I never did, and nor will I ever get to play that type of, character again.
Well, if it means anything to you, I didn't know.
You didn't know?
No, I didn't know it was you.
I didn't think, I didn't think you could really tell. I mean, it's quite the disguise.
Yeah,
you know?
I didn't think about it. I just thought that was like a character. I didn't think about it being you. I just wondered where you were.
Right.
You know, it's funny because I do think that in horror movies you get those weird characters.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yep.
I think the person blends, you know, in a weird way. But we had a lot of laughs on set. I mean, like, I know there were times when we couldn't get through scenes because everybody would just crack up when I was around. They were hysterical. Like, even behind, I think some of the features on the DVD, Vincent Pastore was hysterical.
Mm-hmm.
He could not, like, stop laughing one night. We were just, like, getting giddy. And every time he looked at me, he would just, like, crack up. So it was fun, too. It wasn't just, like, it wasn't so serious. We had a really fun time. It was really cool being like that. No, did I get to be sexy and wear, like, you know, cute makeup? No, but I didn't give a shit.
What does your husband think of the fourth one?
Oh my God, he loves Return to Sleepaway Camp. He's my worst critic. Like, most movies I show him, he's like, that again? You know, like there are some movies I've done that I love, and he's just like, oh, that was terrible. He's really oh, he's so honest with me.
Wow.
But he really loved Return to Sleepaway Camp. He felt that it was very much, you know, it was done in the same vein as the first one. That it was that, you know, campy, 80s kind of cheesy.
Yeah, definitely.
And he liked that.
Yeah. I think that's the charm of the movies, really.
Yeah, definitely.
Whatever happened to the reunion? I know it's weird because these movies, they seem to be taking so long for the next one. Like, you recorded Return to Sleepaway and it took like 2 or 3 years with the CGI, and now everyone was excited for the reunion because you got that aunt back, right?
Oh, right, Desiree Gould, who played Aunt Martha, yeah.
Yeah, and then we were all wondering, and, you know, Jonathan's always up for it. I remember I hung out with Jonathan in like a bar for like an hour in Cherry Hill, New Jersey at a convention.
Oh my God! Yeah, Monster Mania, and he missed the whole Q&A. Was that because of you?
I think it was. Yeah, it was 2009. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Because I was having a baby. It was August of '09, so I didn't get to make that. He definitely. He's definitely a cool guy to hang with, especially in the bar. But yeah, he missed that whole Q&A, and. You know, we didn't have any plans to make that movie. It kind of wound up on IMDb. I ask Robert all the time, like, what's the deal? And then as of recently, there's been talk about actually remaking Sleepaway Camp. It's kind of like the last of that, you know, era of movies.
Let's see, I don't want that yet, though. I need one more Angela. You know, the aunt's coming back. You got Jonathan. I mean, if you remake it, then that's like that's it.
Is that sacrilegious? Should we not be remaking?
maybe just after one more.
See, I disagree. I think you should remake it, but you have to be in it in some capacity.
I said I'd like to play Aunt Martha.
Yep.
That's the funniest thing.
Yeah. Wouldn't that be hilarious? Richard, Angela. I would love to play that character. I mean, I would adore that. But I think it always comes down to money, you know. Ultimately, it's like, who's going to put up the money for this? So I think it's the powers that be, like whoever, you know. I know people have approached Robert. I don't know what he's going to do. There will be something. I can say that. Like,
really?
I mean, just in that, you know, we all want to do something. Mm-hmm. What it is, I don't know, but I definitely think that there is going to be another installment. I mean, I shouldn't say installment. I don't know if it's going to be a, you know, sequel. I don't know if it's going to be a remake. I don't know, but I know that there, you know, if I have it my way, there will be in the next year or two another Sleepaway Camp movie.
Wow,
that's awesome. Well, we're looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Thank you. I hope, fingers crossed, that it, you know, that it happens. We'll see.
Yeah. Now I got one question. I don't know if you're okay with talking about it. And if you're not, we'll just edit it right out.
Dun, dun, dun. Okay.
So you and Jonathan actually started dating as adults.
Oh, my God. I thought you were going to say as kids. I don't know that anybody's broached this subject, my friend. No, that's okay. I'm totally cool with it. You know what? it's so funny because he and I do a lot of the conventions together now, and that's everybody, and we're always hanging out together because we're really close friends, and you know, people know that I had a big crush on him, and we were like dating for like a week on the, you know, on the original set. But yeah, then we met up again like many years later, close to 20 years later, and you know, it was just like one of those things. We were both single for like 10 minutes, and we were like reminiscing of what, you know, what had been in the past. But it was never anything serious. He'll say to you he was always afraid of me. Now, you'll have to ask him. I have no idea what that means, but somehow that, you know, that just never worked out. And thank God, because, you know, he has a beautiful and wonderful marriage and child, and you know, I'm married to Darren and have an amazing life with him, so it worked out the way, again, like it should. But yeah, we you know, we tried to see if there was anything there.
You gave it the old college try.
We gave it the old college try, and you know, it's like we had chemistry, but it's just the wrong time, wrong place. It was never right for us. But he's a great guy, and we're fantastic friends. So.
Yeah. When I was hanging out with him, he was really the coolest guy. He's really, really a cool guy, and he's actually coming on the show for the second half of this retrospective. So.
Oh, you're gonna. So I hope you're gonna ask him the same question.
Yeah, we're gonna. Oh, absolutely.
Sure.
It will be interesting to hear his answer. We should ask him to have a couple of drinks before he does the interview. He's hilarious. He's so.
Well, that
funny
goes without saying for this show.
Yeah, we all have drinks before we record this.
Hey, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
More fun.
The whole, you know, the whole party atmosphere thing going on.
Of course, definitely.
So you're a horror fan. What do you think of all these remakes? Are you do you think they're cool? Is that why you want to do one, or have you not liked what's come out, or what?
That's a good question. It's funny because several years ago when we really got hit with, like, you know, everything being remade, I was like totally against it. I couldn't believe they were remaking these movies. They were, you know, how could you touch these, you know, incredible pieces of art? Like, I just love them, these classics, yeah. But then I spoke to a friend of mine, Jason Paul Collum, who I did a documentary with, and he's a huge horror not only fan but filmmaker, and he kind of opened my mind. He was like, you know, if you really think about it, it's cool that they get this attention, and a new one is remade, and then the new generation of fans get to, you know, take a look at the old classics. Mm-hmm. And I was like, yeah, that's kind of a neat way to look at it. Like, it's shedding light, you know, to kids today what was. But I still wrestle with it. I still kind of wish that they would leave well enough alone. But you know, then when I kind of had that feeling, I was like, well, it would be cool to see what they would do with Sleepaway Camp, but only if Robert is at the helm and if he is the writer and director of the new one. But unfortunately, that's the problem we're running into. We're running into, like, money people want to put in their young writer and director.
Right.
You know, they don't want Robert.
Right.
You know, they don't want the old.
Did you get a good return on the last movie, Return of Sleepaway Camp?
No, and that's also the problem. You know, that didn't really do so great.
Oh, it didn't? Oh, wow.
So it's. I mean, I don't know. I can't say. I'm not at the.
Yeah.
I have no idea, but I'm getting yelled at by my 5-year-old right now.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess the last thing, so you can get back to your, you know, the kids and everything.
We're like, let's talk about slicing and dicing.
I'll talk about killing people later.
Yeah.
So what are you up to now? Like, what could the fans look forward to? Like, any new movies you're going to be in, or any conventions you're going to be at?
I'll be at Day of the Dead, July 6th through the 8th, in Indiana. That's coming up in like less than a month, and I have a bunch of. I think I'm doing Spooky Empire in Orlando, like October, November. I have a bunch coming up. And I've just done like a lot of films, so they're kind of like coming out, you know, one at a time. This movie Poe that I did, which is kind of like a Silence of the Lambs. It's really cool. And we're going to be doing the sequel. That one just came out, I think, in May. And then we're going to be doing a sequel to that. and seems like people like that. And then I did another movie with Jason Hughes called Breath of Hate that should be coming out, and
okay.
I can't even think. Yeah, like a bunch. It's been great, and I'm kind of working on a project with Tiffany Shepis right now that has to do with a reality TV show. So
Really?
I hope everybody keeps their fingers crossed about that, because we're kind of like talking about that. Well, we're kind of past the talking stage. We filmed a little, so we'll see what happens. Maybe on Sci-Fi.
Wow.
That could be cool. We'll see.
Awesome. Yeah.
Just some talk, you know.
Please do whatever you can to come to New Jersey. Please, Monster.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
I loved. I have to say, like, I was there. I guess it was in 2010. I had the best time. It was like, wow. I hadn't done conventions, a lot of them up to that point, and I just love them.
Wow, I can't believe I didn't know about that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder why I couldn't have went. There must have been some reason I couldn't go.
Yeah, you were out of the country. You were.
Yeah, sure.
You were on a safari somewhere.
You'll get them next time.
Yeah, if I knew you were there, I would have went to great lengths.
Well, I'm hoping. I hope they invite me back. You know, you always kind of keep your fingers crossed. Like, I just did Blood on the Beach in Virginia. We had a great time there.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
All right, well, then next, if you ever come by, me, you, and Jonathan hang out in the bar, right?
Yeah, hey, there you go. That's what those conventions are all about. What happens in whatever city stays in that city.
Exactly.
You know, that's a crazy, that's awesome. So,
All right, well, thank you so much for coming on the
Thank you.
show. Really
I
great talking
appreciate
to
it. Thanks so much for having me. Thank
Yeah,
you.
absolutely.
Thank
And
you.
looking forward to your new stuff, and looking forward to rewatching the old.
I appreciate it. Thanks so much.
All right.
Okay,
All right,
good
thanks,
luck,
Melissa.
guys. Thank you for
All right,
everything.
thanks. Have a good one.
Okay.
Thank you. Have a good
Bye.
one.
You too.
Tune in to episode 21 for part 2 of our Sleepaway Camp retrospective. Sleepaway Camp 2, Unhappy Campers, and Sleepaway Camp 3, Teenage Wasteland.
When I look into your eyes, it comes as no surprise. You're slipping away. And yeah, you're the love of my life. It's so cold at night. I'm begging you to stay. I know it's all a masquerade. Just what I've been looking for. No other boy can love me more. what I